Om Sri Sai Ram. With utmost love and humility, let us offer our most loving salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Today I am in a very thoughtful mood because yesterday I received one question from one of the Sai organizational members. And the question is that some of the organizational members themselves do not follow the ideals and teachings of Bhagwan in completeness. Still, they hold their positions and do not become the ideals we can look up to. And this member said that he is very angered by this circumstance and he also feels helpless in doing anything about it. Before I give my thoughts on this particular question, let me share with you one small experience. It was Vrindavan. Swami was coming to the Sai Krishna Ramesh hall for evening bhajans. I was in Trey Vrindavan inside and Swami was on his wheelchair. He was not able to walk. There was somebody pushing his wheelchair and Swami was sitting. For those of us who have seen Swami as if floating in the air while coming for darshan, this sight of struggle, this sight of pain, this sight of being unable to walk as earlier was a very painful sight. And I had seen hundreds of devotees being cured in Swami's presence. Many of them not even in his physical presence, but just by his sankalpa. Swami would have cured thousands and thousands of people around the world. In some other talk of mine, I'll share some of those curing miracles of Bhagwan that I have myself been a witness to. So I knew very well that if Swami wills for even one fraction of a second, he can get up and walk. So I, with all my love and the anguish in my heart, I came near the pathway. And I folded my hands and said, Swami, if you wish, you can cure yourself in this very moment. Why don't you walk again, Swami? Why don't you walk again? Swami looked towards me and smiled. And he said, that is not my responsibility, sir. This body has come for the sake of devotees. It is their responsibility that Swami should walk again. And then after a pause, Swami asked me, Deepak, do you know what is truly the body of Bhagwan? It is the Satya Sai Seva organizations that is the body of Swami. And Swami said, today my organization is inflicted, is diseased by the ills of ego and desires. That is why Swami has become handicapped. Swami is not able to walk. If you want Swami to walk again, go, remove the ills of ego and desires from the Satya Sai Seva organization. Swami will walk again. With tears in my eyes, I just went off from the pathway and folded my hands in absolute helplessness. Sisters and brothers of the Sai fraternity, of the One Sai family, how important it is to constantly check ourselves before these diseases of ego and desires creep inside us unknowingly and afflict not only us, our fate, but also the people and circumstances and surroundings around us. And what can we really do if we are inflicted by these diseases? What shall we do that we can be cured and the Swami's organization can be healthy again and Swami will come again in physical form and be with all of us? Swami would always say, the cure for your ego and for your desires is only divine love. It is only divine love. One day we were all sitting with Bhagwan in Kodaikanal. And one of the ardent devotees, a lady devotee who has been with Swami since her childhood as a playmate on Chitrapati sands. She was sitting in the back and she said, Swami, can I ask a question? Swami said, yes, 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 ask. And she said, Swami, we love you so much. We love you a lot, Swami, but sometimes we are not able to understand that if you also reciprocate and love us as much. Back came Swami's reply. And Swami said, Bangaru, my dear child, if you love me 1 degree, that by itself is the proof that I love you 1,000 degree. I love you 1,000-fold more. What a universal statement that Swami has told. But we have to also understand what Swami says is the true meaning of love. Today we see love in various ugly forms all around us. People talk about love in this form or that form. But divine love is truly love. That true love, Swami says, has to be defined in the correct parameters. So what are the parameters for truly understanding what is the quality and level of love in our hearts? Because that alone is what Swami is looking at when he looks at us, when it decides our destiny. Then Swami said, love is truly love when it is deep like the ocean. It is expansive like the sky. And it is more selfless than 1,000 mothers' selfless love put together. That is the true definition of love. And that is why we have to ask ourselves, sometimes when we go to bed, before that, let us evaluate ourselves. Today, what is the level of love in my heart? Even for those people whom I say, I love a great deal, is my love deep enough? Is my love expansive, more expansive than yesterday? Is my love more selfless than yesterday? If we are able to come to the parameters of even 1 degree compared to God's love for us, we certainly are progressing on the spiritual path. One day before, one of these speeches, Swami asked me, what are you speaking upon? Swami, I said, I'm sharing my experiences and how we can get over our karma. Then Swami asked me, what is the meaning of karma? What do you understand by the meaning of karma? Swami, karma is the result or the reaction of whatever we do. Swami said, wrong. That is not the true meaning of karma. And Swami said, karma in the eyes of God is only your truest and deepest intention. It is not what you do. It is not what you think. It is not what you speak. Swami looks at what? Swami is the dweller of the innermost chamber of your heart. And sitting there, Swami only looks at your deepest and truest intention. So that love has to be totally deep, expansive and selfless. First for God and then expand to the entire world and the universe per se. Sometimes when we find that, the circumstances, the people around us are not up to our expectations, we feel a lot of anger, isn't it? We all get angry. We all resist, show our anger. But how does anger help us in any way? It only is a disaster. It's a poison that we drink on a daily basis and we think somebody else will die, somebody else will suffer. Nobody else will suffer except you when you are angry. That is a scientific and natural fact. If I drink the poison, I die, not my neighbor on whom I am angry. Swami says, at the bodily level, anger poisons your entire system. At the mental level, it clouds your decision making and the rational mind. It clouds it. It confuses the rational mind. You do not know what is good or bad when you are angry. If you go to the jails and ask a number of the inmates, why are you all languishing here for all your life? Why are you suffering like this? And 90% will tell you it was only one moment of anger. That is why when you are angry, you take all wrong decisions. At the spiritual level, Swami says, even one bout of anger destroys the punyam of even 6 months of intense devotion and sadhana. So my question to you is, brothers and sisters of the Sai family, certainly we want to get rid of our ego and desires. Yes, we want to become the ideals, living ideals of Bhagwan himself walking on this earth. But without letting go of ego and desires, our journey has not even become, and we have not even started taking the first step of becoming truly the Sai devotees, truly the devotees of Bhagwan. No, not at all. So that is why give up your expectation that you can change the world, that somebody should change, somebody should behave properly, somebody should honor you, somebody should give you respect, somebody should know who you are, that you what position you have, what physical physique you have, what intelligence you have, how many degrees you possess, who your father is, who your uncle is. Why? The question is, we not have to look at the way the world looks at us. That's not important. It is important that how Swami looks at us. And Swami is looking at only one thing. Our truest and deepest intentions and the truest and deepest love in our heart, that is deep like the ocean, that is expansive like the sky, and that is selfless like that of 1,000 mothers' selfless love. But we don't want to look at the man or the woman in the mirror, isn't it? It's very difficult to look at that person in the mirror and ask a question, point a finger towards that particular person in the mirror and says, hey, today God gave you 24 hours, one day to live. Sleep is a small death. Death is a long sleep, Swami says. So you're going to die this day. Before you die in sleep this day, can you ask yourself, how has been my day? Has my love for all the people, all the circumstances, and all the situations that I came across in this day, was I having little bit more of love towards all of that? I may not be in a very palatable situation. I may not be with a very palatable spouse. I may not be with very palatable neighbors. I may not be with a very palatable job. No, I may dislike that particular position. But can I infuse 0.1 degree more love into that situation today? Have I been able to? Because whatever is happening today, whatever circumstances I am, I have sown the seeds of them in my previous lives. That is why I am here and now. So on number of occasions told that there is no free will. You are a product of your past and you are the seed of your future. Our product that we are today is a seed that we had ourselves sown with our own hands yesterday. Then why crib and cry? At this point in time, you have only one opportunity, and that is to sow the seeds of love around you, so that tomorrow, in this lifetime or the next, the blossoms of love will pave your path and give beauty and fragrance all around in your life in the forthcoming future. That is all that is there in your hand. Please remember, we are not the creators of this world and the universe. We are just a little speck of dust, not even that. Even if you look at the Milky Way galaxy with 30 billion stars and Sun being only a very small size star with 7 dust particles or 9 dust particles around it, and Earth is only one of them. And what are we in that entire creation? And there are trillions of galaxies like Milky Way galaxy that we are talking about. What really is our reality? Humility is what we require to understand that I am not the creator of this world and the universe. God is. And when has been the time that there has been no ego and desires in this world? Did I create them? Am I responsible for them? Am I supposed to do the God's job of getting rid of the ego and desires of the entire world and the universe? No. Lord Ganesha gave us the highest example. When the Navagrahas came and said, we will fight, Ganesha said, I don't have time. I'm going around my parents. They are my everything. My world is more important. The world is not so important. We are more worried about what's happening in the village, what's happening in the town, what's happening in the city, the country, the world, the universe. But we are not concerned about what's happening inside of us. We're not concerned about if I'm getting rid of my ego and desires and my anger myself. I'm not worried about if I am getting great, being an ideal example that the organization of Bhagwan, which is the body of Bhagwan, is getting rid of the ego and desires around us. So if there is somebody in the organization who's very egoistic, very full of desires, and he's not an ideal, there's no point you getting angry. You must get angry on that person's mind without his knowledge and collectively try to save his soul by advising him that, brother or sister, you are an honored member of the Sai organization. With folded hands, we fall at your feet in all humility and pray to you that please, bit by bit, fraction by fraction, please try and remove your ego and desires that you can be the ideal which you truly can be. Swami is never judging us. How can we judge somebody? That individual soul has the same, exactly the same soul, the same Sai within him as you have. How can you hate that person? Yes, you can hate the way his mind is misguiding him. You can, as a benefactor, as a person who wills good for that person, you can certainly advise him with all your love. But don't get angry, because anger will just poison everything. Anger will just take everything down. And that is why, sisters and brothers, if you really want this world to become the garden of Sai, if you truly want this world to become a place where Swami loves to come again, takes the avatar again and play with all of us as he has done in the past, we certainly will have to remove these afflictions, these diseases of ego and desires from Satya Sai Seva organizations, in whichever form they are operating, in whichever country and geographical area they may be operating, knowingly, unknowingly. But we have to all remain focused that if we remove the ego and desires, the divine love will manifest, and slowly this divine love will become deeper, expansive and selfless, and we ourselves will become the living messages of Sai, which wherever we will go will transform a little bit. Wherever which circumstances we are, will improve it a little bit. Whichever person we meet will transform him a little bit. One day I was about to give a speech, and Swami called me inside. I was alone with Swami, and Swami said, "What are you speaking?" I said, "Swami, I am sharing my experiences." And Swami said, "Everybody has got experiences. What is so special about yours?" And I had no answer. I thought my speech got cancelled in that very moment. And Swami said, if there is one tear of devotion in eye of one devotee, if there is one tear of devotion in the eyes of one devotee, or if there is 1 degree transformation in the heart of one devotee, I will consider your speech to be success. Then he materialized the